For years, right, we've all been sold this idea that the magic number for a good night's rest is 8 hours, 8 on the dot. But what if that perfect number is actually a myth? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dig into the science behind finding the exact amount of sleep your body really needs. And trust me, it might not be what you think.
So let's just jump right in with a big question. Do you really need 8 hours of sleep? I mean, have you ever laid in bed, tossing and turning, just stressing about not hitting that 8-hour mark? Or maybe you've popped out of bed after just 6 hours feeling amazing and thought, wait a minute, is this 8-hour rule a hard and fast law, or is it more of a suggestion?
And you know, this right here gets to the absolute heart of it. The whole conversation around sleep is kind of shifting. Experts are now saying, hey, let's focus less on the number on the clock and way more on the quality of our sleep. Because a short night of really deep, solid, uninterrupted rest can be so much better than a long, restless one.
So let's investigate this. Where did this 8-hour rule even come from? We're going to look into the origin of this myth and see why, for a lot of us, it just doesn't apply.
Okay, now to be totally fair, the standard advice isn't completely wrong. It's just incomplete. Most experts do recommend that adults get somewhere between 7 and 9 hours, and there's a good reason for that. Consistently sleeping less than that is linked to some pretty serious health risks, like obesity, high blood pressure, and heart disease. So this is kind of the baseline, but it's definitely not the whole story.
And that brings us right to the main event, quality over quantity. So what is actually happening inside our bodies that makes for truly great, high-quality sleep? Let's go beyond just looking at the clock.
Clinical psychologist Dr. Tony Cunningham just nails it with this quote. He points out that we get so fixated on the duration of our sleep, right? But we totally ignore its quality. And the big takeaway here is that the time you spend in bed and the quality of your rest, well, they can be two very different things.
So how do we get that quality sleep? Well, it turns out our bodies have these two super powerful internal engines that are basically running the whole show.
Understanding how these two engines work together, that's the key. The first one is called sleep pressure, which is basically your body's growing need for sleep. And the second is your circadian rhythm. Think of that as your internal master clock. Let's break them both down.
All right, first up is sleep pressure, sometimes called sleep drive. The easiest way to think about it is like air pressure building up in a tank. From the second you wake up, that pressure starts building, and it gets stronger and stronger all day long. The longer you're awake, the more that pressure accumulates, creating this really powerful need to go to sleep and, release it.
Dr. Cunningham has this brilliant way of thinking about it. He compares sleep pressure to hunger. It's so simple. The longer you go without eating, the hungrier you get, right? It's the exact same idea with sleep. So intuitive, just a perfect analogy.
Okay, so engine number 2 is your circadian rhythm. This is your body's own internal 24-hour master clock. It's not just an on-off switch for sleep, though. It's actually sending out signals all day long, some that promote being awake and others that promote sleep. It's why you naturally feel more alert at certain times and drowsy at others. And it can get all messed up by things like caffeine or that blue light from our screens late at night.
Here's the perfect example of that rhythm in action. Have you ever pulled an all-nighter? You feel totally wiped out around 2 or 3 a.m. And then suddenly, boom, you get this weird jolt of energy. That second wind, that's not you actually getting less tired. No way. That's your circadian rhythm kicking into high gear with the big wake up signal, trying to fight against your crazy high sleep pressure.
And here it is. This is the secret to truly deep, restorative sleep. You need these two systems to be perfectly in sync. The goal is to hit the sack when your sleep pressure is at its peak, right at the moment your circadian rhythm is sending its strongest go-to-sleep signals. When they're aligned, sleep feels amazing and effortless. When they're not, well, that's when you're just tossing and turning.
So now that we get the mechanics behind all this, how do we actually apply it? It's time to stop chasing some generic number and start the search for your personal one. Let's just be crystal clear about this. That 8-hour rule is just an average. It's not a prescription for every single person. Like Dr. Cunningham says, the idea that every human on the planet needs the exact same amount of sleep, it's just biologically wrong.
In fact, we all kind of fall into different biological categories. You've got your natural short sleepers who really do thrive on just 5 or 6 hours. Most of us fall into that average 7 to 9 hour range. And then you have the long sleepers who genuinely need 9, 10, maybe even more hours to feel their best. The real question is, which one are you?
So how do you find out? How do you figure out your number? Well, you can run a really simple experiment on yourself. It's called the no alarm experiment. And it is a super powerful way to just let your body tell you exactly what it needs.
First things first, you gotta set the stage. The best time to do this is on a vacation or a long weekend when you don't have to get up early. The whole goal is to remove all the things that tell you what time it is. So hide your clocks, get some blackout curtains, maybe even an eye mask. You want to create this pure environment where your body is the only thing telling you when it's time to wake up.
The process itself is pretty straightforward. First, try to have a consistent bedtime. But, and this is important, only get into bed when you're actually feeling sleepy. That's your cue that your sleep pressure is high. If you're just lying there wide awake, get up and do something relaxing in low light for a bit. And then, the most important step of all, turn off your alarm and just let your body wake you up on its own.
Now, a quick heads up here. Don't trust the results from the first night or two. Most of us are walking around with a pretty significant sleep debt, so you'll probably sleep for a really long time at first, maybe 10, 11 hours, as your body just catches up on all that missed rest. That's totally normal, so don't worry.
So when do you know you found your magic number? Well, the answer is all about consistency. After your body pays off that sleep debt, it's going to settle into its own natural rhythm. When you find yourself waking up, feeling great at almost the exact same time for 3 or 4 days in a row, that's it. You found it. That amount of time is your personal, biological sleep need.
So the 8-hour rule isn't really a rule at all, is it? It's just an average. The real key to better rest is all about understanding your body's unique biology. And now you have the science and the method to discover your personal number. The only question left is, what's your body been trying to tell you?